Hi, welcome to Canfield and Company. I'm your host, Rob Canfield. And with me in the studio today, Studio B at the beautiful Metro East Community Media, is my wife, Tana Canfield, my co-host today. How's it going today?
Hey, this evening it's going great.
It is going great. Our technical advisor, technical director today is Glenn. He's helping us out today. Thanks,
Hi, Glenn.
Topic number 1 today, folks. You
What's
won't
that,
believe
Rob?
it.
What?
But the Multnomah County Commission has raised the vehicle registration fees yet again.
Oh no! Tell me it's not so.
Let me get the proper page here. So the Multnomah County Commission, in their wisdom,
No.
blessed a plan
That's not good.
to dramatically raise vehicle registration fees to pay a portion of the estimated
Ouch.
$550 million to $850 million to replace or seismically refit the Burnside Bridge. So the currently yearly fee is $19.
$19.
And these,
Okay, I could afford that a year.
these elected officials, they raised it to $56. It's going to go from $19 to $56.
That's like
a year.
triple
Yeah.
per year. So that's $112.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like $300 then when you add everything
Yeah.
together.
So motorists,
Oh,
you guys, you aren't billed this on an annually fee. You pay this every 2 years.
every 2 years.
So you're going to be paying another $112 a year on top of what you're paying from the state of Oregon,
And
which
who did this?
is going to $112. According to the state of Oregon portion will go from $86 to $112. So it's going to get really, really
it's almost $300, Rob,
expensive.
every 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh. Who can afford this? I'm serious. So what I'm thinking is they just don't want us to drive anymore.
So the commissioners, in their wisdom, they're saying only the Telecom Crossing Bridge at the moment is structurally engineered to
Withstand
survive the big one, the big earthquake that we're all expecting. And they say it's critically important that the county move forward quickly now to make the Burnside Bridge seismically sound. And they also acknowledged, that while this could be expensive for some, they would look for ways to lessen the blow for low-income residents, many of whom might not be able to pay the higher cost. Well, for crying out loud, the last time I just registered a car in, was it September, October, or August?
August, yeah.
And the sticker shock was incredible. I mean, I had to wait an hour and a half to get it registered, and then to write the check. It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Do you think that this money will go to good use, or do you think the bridges will fall down anyway in the event of the big earthquake?
Well, okay. To size it all up, kind of a little pun there, the whole fact of the matter is this is like a guess estimate. It's not a true estimate. I believe this can be higher than what they're projecting, okay?
It's always higher. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. They lowball the estimate, and then once the project is like a third of the way constructed, then they say, oh, it's going to cost a lot more, but we can't stop building it now because it's... How many times has city government, county government done this?
Over and over and over and over and over. It's it's repetition.
Yeah. And should we trust
Our elected
our
officials.
elected officials, because they were going to
Unfortunately,
build...
we can't.
They were going to build an extra I-5 bridge, and they went through
Oh my goodness.
over
yeah.
$300 million in
$300
consulting fees, and the bridge didn't even get built.
That's
So
ridiculous.
why should we trust government to refit these bridges?
Well, I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, what the county is going to do with the vehicle registration money is they're going to issue $270 million in bonds to fund a portion of the bridge project and use the increased car fees to repay the debt. And then next year, Metro Regional Government is going to put up for a vote a $3.1 billion transportation voters next November. And they're still determining how to pay for all this stuff. And Commissioner Lori Stegman, our East County, Multnomah County Commissioner, who I'm sorry I voted for, she says, the proposed fee increase is a small price to pay to protect lives and property across the region. Yeah, just blah, 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 blah.
Talking head.
Yeah. And they at the commission meeting, they did a scary a video that showed the likely catastrophic consequences of a major earthquake on a Burnside bridge. But I got to tell you, a catastrophic earthquake bridge, I don't care how much they refit it, it's going down.
Yes, nothing's going to stop it. So, yeah.
So there you go, folks. They are always taking their hand and sticking it in your pocket, trying to reach for your wallet, stick it into your purse, and trying to grab that money. And they never stop. And these people who are elected to government, they're usually Democrats, and they're usually saying all these capitalists are greedy people. But I'll tell you right now,
We're not.
I was in local government myself for many years. It's not the capitalists that are the most greedy. It's the government folks themselves that are the most greedy. They're the most greedy. And that is my opinion. You can agree or disagree with me, but greed doesn't just exist out in the free world and free markets. The greed exists in government.
Right
Definitely.
where you live, yeah. And that's the whole thing. It's their purse strings, so they feel that they have the interest in telling us how to spend our money, and more taxes is not the answer.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is, if you fail to pay a bill, like you failed to pay for your car, you failed to pay for your house, your car will get repossessed, and your house will get repossessed, and then the lender's only the only recourse for that is to sue you in court. But the government, if you fail to pay your taxes, they can take away your money at the point of a gun.
Oh, wow.
So it's greed all the way.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Think about that, folks. Well, that's it for this section of Canfield and Company. We'll be back after this with another cool topic right after this. Welcome back to Canfield and Company. I'm your host, Rob Canfield. With me, my sidekick today is my wife, Tana Canfield.
Hello, Rob.
Thanks for being on the show again. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Topic number 2 today is a subject that many of us have spent virtually our entire lives visiting, and that is Lloyd Center. I just saw a article in Willamette Week this week, and the title of their article in Willamette Week is, "Will Lloyd Center last another Christmas? A week inside the mall on the edge." Now, both Tana and I are young enough to go there when Lloyd Center first opened, August 1st, 1960.
Maybe you.
Oh, yeah. But we went there often when we were little kids. My grandmother worked at Van Dyne's Chocolate there.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I was, and
You
she
got
gave
a
us
lot
free
of candy.
Both Tana and I, we didn't know each other, but we spent many hours skating the ice rink at Lloyd Center.
Oh, yeah. When we were in groups, and
Yes.
even as singles, we would come together in groups and go ice skating there. And the fresh winter air, that was so awesome.
It was awesome.
Rob. And it got us out of the house, and it got us moving. You know how they say keep moving?
Yep.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I lived near Lloyd Center when it was remodeled in the late 80s.
And it was so beautiful.
And it was torn up to pieces, but they put it together beautifully, and they actually put a roof on it.
Yeah, it was.
So you're not going to get snowed on.
Well, it was skylights.
in the winter,
It was
with
really
skylights.
Nice. Yeah.
But now, according to the Willamette Week article, and I've been going to different malls over the last year or so to see how they're faring, and Lloyd Center
is failing.
Is failing. To give you an example.
Which is sad. Because it used to be the mall to go to. I remember that. You know?
So it started going downhill. Some of the anchor stores started to pull out in 2015.
Why?
Nordstrom abandoned Lloyd Center. They said bye-bye. And that was a huge shock, I think, to the entire area.
Shock.
And then the following year, in 2016, Sears pulled out. And then in 2018, Marshall's pulled out. According to Willamette Week, they pulled out after complaining to the Portland Police Bureau document showed about the persistent shoplifting that has plagued the mall. Now, the mall itself has a huge footprint there, huge footprint. Some people are talking about, hey, why don't we raise Lloyd Center, and that'll be a great place for a Major League Baseball stadium.
Could be.
Or possibly converting it to another use. Now,
I don't know.
the Willamette Week reporters went to Lloyd Center and talked to some of the employees who work at the different stores. One of the cashiers at Gifts from Apar, she says, not going to last long. She said most of the regulars expressed a similar worry. And she said the thieves are getting shameless. I'm going to quote from the Willamette Week article. She said a woman with a black backpack slips into the Victoria's Secret next to a kiosk where she works. And she says the thieves are getting shameless inside the Victoria's Secret store. She says they go in all the time. She says Victoria's Secret is a popular target because the skivvies, the underwear they sell, is really small and easy to put into bags, and you can easy to pocket it. And she says, as she's working there, the alarms at Victoria's Secret going off constantly.
Are you serious? The alarms go off?
Yeah.
And they don't do anything?
No. And at Express, she says
That's
that these, or more obvious, they'll wear 4 or 5 pairs of pants and leave the store.
Rob, really, that's just out of control.
Yeah.
What are they going to do about it?
So Marshall's left, and this is documented by the folks at Willamette Week, because they complained to Portland Police, you need to have a police officer in our store to help with shoplifting.
I would say so.
And they refused, so Marshall said, we're out of here. So
And
what are
they
your thoughts
left.
on what's happening with all the closures?
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't understand the world that we live in today, because we were taught you paid for what you wanted. So in other words, it's not your stuff. So it's not free. If you want it, you buy it. You work and you buy it. You make a purchase. Now, is that something that's not taught in the schools anymore?
Do you think it's possibly part of the meth problem, where people find it's easy pickings to shoplift at a mall and they can sell the stuff online and supply their meth habit? Is that a possibility?
I would say that we really need to go after the crux of the problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it. I mean, we need to get police in there, and if alarms are going off, man, there needs to be somebody right there. There has to be consequences, because if there's not consequences, it keeps, happening where we won't have a mall anymore over there. I mean, that's just a big loss for not only the shopkeepers, but for everybody, because it makes the prices go up too.
Yeah, and it's not just the shoplifting inside the store. The Willamette Week folks did go around with a police officer in the Lloyd Center parking lot.
What they find out?
And they were looking for a stolen car. And she says they are dumping grounds for stolen cars that were stolen elsewhere. And it's just a great place to duck and dive. The camera visibility isn't that great. And
really?
Yeah.
So why don't they enhance the visibility?
I don't know. They said one day last week there were 19 calls in 3 hours.
3 hours.
Just for the parking lot alone. 19 calls in 3 hours.
And you know how that is a really busy parking lot, and it goes up and down, and it's parking in all these different spots, and then it has the major parking lot, which is, several levels. So that is something that needs to be definitely revisited. Yeah, it's not working.
This is an issue I know that has plagued large shopping centers throughout the United States, and I believe every shopping mall is having their own struggles finding the right mix of store tenants or activities. I have kind of gone out to the different malls a couple times a month lately, and Washington Square seems to be doing the best. They have the least amount of vacancies as far as I saw. Clackamas Town Center, we were there just the other day, and they had some pretty significant vacancies, but none so dramatic as the vacancies on the west end of Lloyd Center. It's virtually
Empty.
empty.
And it's really sad.
Really sad, remembering how
It's
the days
heartbreaking. You know, I just don't understand. You know, there needs to be a revisit of, you know, how can they protect it? I don't know and understand why there's not, like, to get into the mall. There needs to be a way for them to guard it. You know what I mean? Not just allow anybody in there. So there needs to be maybe a pass. Maybe you have to pay $5 to get in. Okay?
To get into a mall?
Yes.
I wouldn't pay to get into a mall. Are you kidding me?
I would, if it guarantees safety and so that the shopkeepers can
Pay
make their
admission
money.
to get into a mall? Nobody
Sure.
would shop there.
Yes, they would. Look at, we're paying for everything anyway. What's $5? Oh, Rob, it would be worth it.
No, I don't think people would pay it. Now, according
I
to
disagree.
Jennifer Nolfi, this is from the Willamette Week article. Well, Jennifer Nolfi, she heads the Center for Retail Leadership at Portland State University. She says, given the immense population density around Lloyd Center and easy access to transportation and parking, the mall can survive if it's nimble. In other words, they're going to have
A
to
lot
try
of
different
people.
things to the right mix of shopping and events
Restaurants.
to attract people.
You also need a lot of restaurants. You know where the Moda Center is? They have a lot of restaurants surrounding it, you know? So
Yeah.
you need to bring that, you need to have a calling card to get people to come in.
You had Applebee's, Lloyd Center closed, Stanford's restaurant
Well, look at the
closed,
Lloyd
all
Cinema,
closed. Lloyd
right?
Cinema closed, yeah. But that's sad to see Lloyd Center as it is, and I hope they can survive. Well, that's it for this particular topic on Canfield and Company. We'll be back after this with another topic right here on Canfield and Company. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Canfield and Company. I'm your host, Rob Canfield. With me today in Studio B at Metro East Community Media is my wife, Tana Canfield, co-host today.
Hello.
Thanks for
Rob.
joining me again. Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Topic number 3 today.
3.
I found this article in the Willamette Week this week. Amazon warehouse in Troutdale under scrutiny. But a couple of days before I saw this article in the Willamette Week, I read an extremely long article in Atlantic magazine describing the increased amount of injuries for Amazon employees throughout their warehouses around the United States.
Wow, Rob.
and
So
I'm-
in Troutdale, huh?
Yeah, so I'm going to quote from the Willamette Week article, but I will put a link to the Atlantic magazine article, which has more information than in the article.
Good
According to
idea.
Willamette Week, reporters gathered safety data for 23 of Amazon's 110 warehouses and found rates of serious worker injuries were more than twice the industry average. And according to Willamette Week, the most dangerous facility, according to the Atlantic magazine article, is Amazon warehouse in Troutdale, Oregon, which had a serious injury rate of 26 per 100 workers, more than six times the industry average.
Okay. Yeah. And Troutdale's warehouse is fairly new. Okay. So perhaps it is scrutinized, and that's a good thing because safety measures have to be put into place there, obviously.
You would hope they have the kind of training. Now, the Amazon spokesman responded to the article, and she disputed the premise of the investigation.
Of course.
And it was Siobhan Brown, she's an Amazon spokesman, she said, and I quote, "While many companies record safety incidents in order to keep their rates low, Amazon does the opposite. We take an aggressive stance on recording injuries, no matter how big
I wonder
or
what Jeff
small.
Bezos would
Well,
say about that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Now we have anecdotal comments from two folks that we know. Our son worked at an Amazon facility on the west side,
Hillsboro.
I believe, and he questioned the statistics. He said when he worked at Amazon, they were very strict on
Proper
lifting techniques and safety techniques. They did stretching exercises every morning before they began. And he said the supervisors concentrated on keeping their employees safe when he worked there, as far as proper lifting procedures
Right.
and proper safety techniques. A former director of this show,
Frank Martin.
works at the facility in
Over a
Troutdale,
year, yeah.
and he also had the same positive
He loves it there.
reviews. He loves
right.
it there. He says the supervisors do pay attention to proper lifting techniques, keeping their employees safe. So that is anecdotal evidence, but it's troubling that this extensive study was done that Troutdale was picked as the worst place
I
for
know.
occupational
Hazards.
injuries.
Yeah.
Now, anytime you work at a warehouse, you're
It's
you're
intense.
lifting a lot of stuff from small items to heavy items
Right.
all the time. You and I, back
We've
in the
done
day, we
some.
did some temp work at some warehouses, and it was
It's hard
very
work.
hard work, but you have to be conscious and aware
Of your
surroundings. Now,
surroundings, sure.
Amazon's warehouses are different than others because of the extensive use of robots going around. The workers don't walk like when we did it. When you'd pick an order,
Right.
you'd go walk over the warehouse yourself. But at
know.
Amazon, you stand in one place, and a giant 7 or 8 foot tall robot with shelves comes, and you put stuff in the shelves.
Really?
But you still have to do lifting.
Huh.
So it's troubling that Amazon in Troutdale is having this issue with injuries, and I'm hoping that they cover that and take care of that. And
I
I
do
will again,
too.
we'll make sure we have the link to the Atlantic
Good.
Magazine article, which has a lot more.
Well, I'm sure there's
attention.
more insight than what we're
Yeah.
talking about. And I'd like to know what the injuries consist of: back, probably
I'd
knee,
imagine mostly back and knee
maybe, and maybe
injuries.
shoulder.
Yeah.
So it is something that hopefully the head of the company, Jeff Bezos, I mean, he started Amazon out of his garage.
Out of his garage.
And I mean, it's a mega, company. So hopefully with this epic fail in Troutdale, that it will rebound, and there'll be a positive article in Atlantic
Yeah.
Monthly.
Yeah, actually, interesting juxtaposition between what's happening at Lloyd Center and the difficulties in
And Troutdale.
attracting customers, and their main competitor is the giant Amazon.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, Amazon is pretty cool. You want something, and
Boom.
you click on it, and usually
Right
I
away.
have what I need the next day.
And
I
at
click
a
on it,
lower price.
I click on it, and
Yeah.
the guy comes and knocks on the door the next day. Boom. It is totally
It's efficient.
convenient. Again, there's a social aspect that, as you mentioned, when we were younger, we were kids in high
It's
school,
fun.
and
Yeah.
just with our work folk, we would go to the malls together. It was a
Sure.
social thing.
Yep.
So there's not a social thing if you're clicking on
No.
like from your computer at home. But if you're going like with your friends or your family, your mom or dad or your kids, you're going shopping, it's a social thing where you're
Oh, yeah.
actually connecting with people. So I can see there's an advantage for the one click, but the social aspect
Do you remember,
is
like,
missing.
when you would go and visit the mall, when you shop, you have to stop and you have to eat, drink, and get candy, right? And or toys, whatever. And it was always kind of a rewarding experience. It was fun.
It's a social experience. Well, that's it for this episode of Canfield and Company. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me an email at rcanfield@robertcanfield.com. That's rcanfield at robertcanfield.com. If you would like to be on the show, same email.
Send them
We
an
have-
email.
Love to have you on the show. You can see previous episodes of our shows at our website, which is robertcanfield.com. Hello.
Right here.
robertcanfield.com. You can also see previous shows at our YouTube site. Just
Sure.
do a search for Canfield and Company.
Mhm.
And you can also go to our Facebook page, Canfield and Company.
Yep.
And again, want to thank our technical producer today, Glenn. Thanks for
Thank
helping us out today,
you.
Glenn. And thanks, Tana, for being on the show again. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Rob. Thank
And for
you.
all of you out there, I want to say happy holidays. Frohliches Weihnachten, Joyeux Noël,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and hope you all have a great Canfield
and
Company
Company
Day.
evening.